Hello and welcome again to Journeys in Transformation Analytics. And with me, I have Tom Weir, who is the Chief Operating Officer of CSafe Global. And he's been sharing with in how they've been leading digital transformation in the cold chain space. Fascinating space and a great company. So Tom, welcome again.
Well, thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Tom, one of the things you said you started the digital transformation with was the AI driven asset management kind of a platform and the effort that you want. Do you want to talk a little bit about like what was before and like again, AI is a buzzword in many terms, many ways, right? So what was it before and what is the vision and what does AI do?
Yeah, sure. So I guess first, a little more broadly, we at CSafe, we compete on quality and service. We're known in the industry as having the best quality and most reliable product, and then service is a huge advantage. So asset management, effective asset management is a a foundation of service, right? If you don't have the right product at the right time at the right place, then you really can't provide good service. So the way we were doing in the past was just through spreadsheets and people really working hard to do the right thing and working through the problem in a somewhat very manual way. And we were successful for many years doing it that way. But what we realized that we needed to take it to a different level. So the goal of our project overall was to use data, historical data, statistical modeling, forecasting, and also our manufacturing production output and flow that into one system that would help us make better decisions about what to do with our product as it moves around the world, and to make sure that we were getting the product where demand will be in the future, and doing that in the most cost-effective, efficient way.
And so one was kind of putting all the data together, which obviously is always a behemoth task to kind of get all the legacy systems and spreadsheets and everything, and you did the modeling. Couple of follow-up questions. How did you measure the new model was, or the new approach was better than the old approach, and how do you how did you see the benefits?
Oh, sure. Great question. So basically the two best metrics, or the three best metrics, was first one would be customer satisfaction, right? So our customers happy with us, and we do that through a series of surveys and then an annual score from NSV score, right? So the second internal is utilization, so effective utilization of the fleet, and then transportation costs. So what we've seen as we've moved through this model is that we're able to make our greatly expanded fleet even look larger than it is, because it's in the right place at the right time in the most cost-effective way. And then ultimately, the goal is to take those savings and pour that investment back into our business so we can continue this journey, because it is a journey. I mean, we haven't stopped. We're going to continue down this digital transformation so that we can meet the needs of the future.
And then in a lot of these cases, these are fantastic. I mean, these are just basically, it sounds like you have kind of taken the customer view, the cost, like a financial view, and from a much more holistic way. One of the things to normally find when you bring in an AI platform or a tool in such a thing is the people's roles change, right? What people were doing, and now they have to do something else. And so how did the man and machine interaction work once you kind of laid out pieces of this platform?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because it's a great one. So, there's a lot of fear out there about AI, right? And how's it going to impact my job? And I think part of the way we approached a relatively small company, we were able to get very personally, involved with each of members of our staff, but getting them involved in the process to help them define the business rules, getting them involved with the activity itself, so that they understood what we were doing. There was no secrets, right? And then what we've seen, and I think what the team has realized, is we've been able to take data and change it into information. They're able to their jobs have changed for the better, right? So they're doing less mundane data crunching and spreadsheet work, and they're actually taking that information and driving it to action that's driving value, right? So that is where I think extremely motivating for the teams, particularly in our logistic management and service centers. So they're free to provide even better service, and I think that they've seen that transformation and greatly appreciate it.
That's awesome. That I normally see is kind of a lot of the people who are doing transactions suddenly become investigators or do the higher end work, and that's it's normally the forgotten piece of it many times. And I'm glad you kind of went through the process.
And I would say that that transformation was rippled through the entire organization. Even my role, the role, has changed a little bit based on, for the better, based on this additional information and decision-making capability within the business.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic to hear. What's next? Like, do you see a lot of, I mean, a little bit more broader, a lot of machine intelligence kind of like in your business or in other businesses, kind of, I mean, this is one function, asset management. Do you see that in across all functions? Like, how do you see as you evolve on the digital transformation journey?
Yeah, I think the real timeliness of the data is going to continue to be a real need. So we're going to drive data acquisition, data collection capabilities at the product level and all through our supply chain. So I see that continue to grow and accelerate, and complexity. I mean, I think we've all seen this. What happens in one part of the world, especially, can really dramatically impact what's happening in the other part of the world. And this need for real-time supply chain visibility, either customer facing or supply chain facing, it's going to continue to accelerate because we're all going through a global pandemic right now and managing those risks. And I think I know that the reason why we've been able to successfully manage that risk and have 100% on-time delivery fulfillment rates throughout this crisis is because of the investments we made in tools and technology and people over the last year.
Wow, what a great story. And Tom, thank you so much. I mean, obviously, in a business, you're always there to kind of, for your shareholders, but I mean, the mission and kind of the work that you've been doing has been very inspiring, and how you've been leveraging technology in a very pragmatic way is I think something a lot of the folks who are listening to this can learn from. Tom, thank you so much for coming and spending some time and educating me personally and everyone who's listening to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.